When a pastor collapsed suddenly in front of his congregation, no one imagined what he was about to experience. Doctors later confirmed that his heart had stopped for several minutes, and while his body lay lifeless, his spirit was taken to a place that would forever change the way he spoke about eternity. He described leaving his body and immediately feeling himself pulled into a tunnel, not one filled with light as so many describe, but a tunnel of shadows, thick and suffocating. He could hear whispers, faint cries in the distance, and he felt an overwhelming sense of despair pressing in on him. It was as if the very air carried sorrow. He realized he was not being taken toward paradise. Something else awaited him. As he reached the end of that tunnel, he entered what he could only describe as a realm of torment. The cries grew louder, echoing through a place that seemed endless. He could see countless figures, some screaming, some in silence, but all radiating a deep regret that words cannot capture. The weight of hopelessness in that place was beyond anything he could bear. He knew, in that moment, that he was witnessing what Scripture warns about: eternal separation from God. And then, among the countless faces, he saw someone that froze him in place. It was a woman whose image had been known across the world, whose name carried the weight of fame and glamour. It was Marilyn Monroe. Her face was unmistakable, but it was not the face that people remembered from the screen or from magazines. This was a face marked with sorrow, with pain, and with a longing that pierced deeper than any performance ever could. She looked at him, and in a voice filled with anguish, she cried out. She begged him to deliver a message. According to his testimony, she said, "Warn them. Tell them not to follow the path I chose. Tell them that fame, beauty, and success mean nothing here. Tell them that the emptiness I felt never left me. Tell them to seek God before it's too late." Her words were not glamorous, not poetic, but desperate. It was the cry of a soul stripped of illusion. She did not ask to be remembered for her movies, her beauty, or her fame. She asked only that others be warned not to make the same choices. The pastor admitted that he trembled as he stood there, unable to fully process what he was seeing. This was the woman that millions had idolized, yet here she was, broken and pleading, not with the world, but with him. He realized that no matter how adored, how celebrated, or how admired someone is, the reality of eternity spares no one. Death is not impressed by fame. Eternity does not bend for celebrity. Choices made in life echo forever, and her presence in that place was a warning stronger than any sermon he could ever preach. Suddenly, he felt a force pulling him back. From the distance, a light broke through the darkness, and though he longed to understand more, the light grew stronger until it overwhelmed everything around him. He felt himself being lifted, carried back through the tunnel, and in an instant he opened his eyes again. His congregation was in shock. Doctors had worked tirelessly, and against all odds, he was alive again. When he was strong enough to speak, he shared what he had seen. He knew many would doubt him, many would say it was only a dream or a trick of the mind, but he could not remain silent. He said, "Eternity is real. Heaven is real. Hell is real. And every decision we make matters." He warned his church that life is fleeting. That beauty fades. That fame dies, but the soul never ceases. He repeated Marilyn's words, reminding everyone that the applause of the world cannot fill the void of a heart that does not know God. He explained that her message was not just for the famous, it was for anyone chasing empty promises, anyone believing that wealth, power, or pleasure could satisfy the soul. He said her cry was not just the regret of a celebrity, but the universal regret of anyone who reaches the end of life without ever turning to the one who offers eternal hope. He urged people to take it seriously, not as a ghost story, not as a tale of fear, but as a wake-up call to realign their lives before it is too late. The pastor reflected on his own heart. He admitted that even as a man of God, he had sometimes taken eternity lightly, assuming he had more time, assuming others would understand the urgency without him needing to remind them. But after what he saw, he knew he could never preach the same way again. He carried a burden to tell the world that no one is promised tomorrow, and that eternity is not something distant, but something closer than we think. And so he preached with new passion. He told his congregation that every soul, whether in a small town or on the world stage, faces the same questions. What have you lived for? Who have you trusted? Where will your soul awaken when your last breath is taken? The encounter with Marilyn Monroe was not just a shocking detail, but a reminder that no one, no matter how admired, escapes the truth of eternity. Her plea was not for herself, but for all who still have time to choose. He challenged his listeners to stop and think. If today were their last day, if their eyes closed tonight and opened in eternity, where would they be? Would they awaken in light, embraced by God, or in the torment of regret, wishing for another chance that never comes? His voice grew heavy as he reminded them. Do not wait. Do not assume. Eternity does not negotiate. He spoke not only to those chasing fame or wealth, but to the ordinary soul, living day by day, thinking there will always be time tomorrow to seek God, time later, to turn back time someday to make it right. He said, Marilyn thought she had time. Many think they have time, but tomorrow is never promised. The story spread far beyond his church. Some dismissed it as imagination, others as a dramatic tale. But many could not shake the weight of the message. Whether or not they believed every detail, they felt the undeniable truth behind it. Life is fragile, and what we live for matters more than we realize. The pastor himself concluded that his survival was not for his sake, but so that he could share this warning. He said, I came back because there was still something to say, and I will keep saying it until my final breath. His words echo as both a warning and an invitation, not to dwell on fear, but to reflect deeply on what truly matters. And now that you have heard his testimony, the question lingers for you as well. If your time came tonight, what would eternity hold for you? Would you hear the welcome of peace, or would you echo the cries of regret? The choice is in your hands now, while you still have breath, while you still have time. Do not waste it. Do not wait. Consider the message, and choose wisely before the chance is gone forever.